Hello, my name is Fawn Clark. I'm a nutritional therapist with a degree in psychology, and I'm more curious about how you eat than what you eat. This podcast is for people who have a yo-yo relationship with dieting and weight loss. Most of you know what a good diet looks like, and you know you'll feel better if you eat well, but so many people find it hard to maintain a balanced way of eating. We feel we need to diet because we can't trust ourselves to make good choices long term. But restrictive diets are hard to adhere to and make spontaneity and socialising hard. In this podcast, I would like to share with you how you can change your relationship with food and your body for good. I will share from my own experience and I'll answer questions from listeners and people I work with. I see clients privately on Zoom, so if you'd like to book a session, please email me at fawn@fawnclark.com. You can also visit my website or find me on Facebook. I also hold a free weekly support group on Zoom and have a WhatsApp support group. For more information about these, please get in touch. So today I just wanted to talk about why we eat the way we do. It can just seem so confusing. Why do I keep doing this? I'm a fully grown adult and I don't want to be eating this way, but I can't stop. People say things to me like, I can't stop grazing all day. I can't stop eating when I'm in the house alone. I stop for food when I'm driving home from work. Every time I come into the house, I go straight to the fridge. I can't have certain foods in the house or I just eat the lot. So what's all this about? Janine Roth says that our eating choices are dictated to us by two voices, or destructive eating behaviours are dictated to us by one of two voices in our heads. Some people can have both. So there's either one, an unruly child, or two, a strict adult. So the unruly child will want what it wants whenever it wants it. It says things like, I don't care about the consequences. I don't care if it's going to make me feel sick. I just want chocolate now, right now, and I don't care about how it's going to make me feel afterwards. The voice of the unruly child is really compulsive, and it's about instant gratification and no thought for long-term effects and no balance. No thought for, hang on, what do I really want now? How will this make me feel? It's an impulsive voice. So that's one voice that would be familiar to a lot of you. And then the second voice is the very strict adult. It says things like, you shouldn't be eating that. You've had too much. Look at the state of you. You should be ashamed of yourself. You know you shouldn't be eating like that. So that's the voice of the strict adult. And I think for most people there's a combination of the two. So it's like, I don't care about the consequences, so I'm going to eat this. But then the strict adult says, oh my God, you should be ashamed of yourself. So then you go and hide and eat. So there's two conflicting voices that cause real disturbance and shame and pain, really, in the way that we eat. So the rigid, strict voice is really scared to trust our desires. It feels like the way to freedom is through control and discipline. It's the one that's putting you on diets and not allowing for flexibility or spontaneity. It is all about discipline, and no, very little humanity around it. So those are the two voices that cause disturbed eating habits. So what I try to teach people is that there's another way. There's the voice of the kind, benevolent adult who is present, curious, kind, a voice of reason and balance. So this voice would say things like, so you want to stop at a shop for food on the drive home, I see that, but you're not really hungry. So what's food going to do for you now? And you'll just feel worse after you eat it. Okay, stop if you want, have it, but just watch how it makes you feel. This voice will also say things like, okay, so you're hungry. What would really satisfy you now? If you let go of all the rules, what would satisfy you now? What would you really like? This voice will also, it'll be a voice of wisdom. It'll say things like, slow down, take your time, taste your food, chew. What's the hurry? Notice when you've had enough. It's the voice that notices when you're tired or overwhelmed and says, I see that you want food, but what you really need is rest now. What you need to do is take it easy. What you really need is to be really kind to yourself. A voice that says, how can I really nourish myself now? If I'm not hungry, what ways can I nourish myself other than eating? The voice will also say, it's fine to have some chocolate or some bread or whatever foods you think you shouldn't be allowed to have. But stay with yourself. How much is enough? It's the voice that says, okay, so your eating went a bit wobbly yesterday. That's okay. What was going on? Back on track today. So this is the voice that I'm trying to help to encourage when I'm working with people. And it's worth pointing out that the voice of the child or the voice of the strict adult, they don't want to give up. They will resist being seen, questioned, and they'll not want to be ignored. So they're going to fight. So there'll even be a resistance to noticing what's going on. If you're in a frame of mind where you just want to eat, there'll be a real resistance to even questioning what's really going on underneath the desire to eat. So to let go of these voices is letting go of part of our identity. It's part of who we feel we are. Most people have their relationship with food starts when they're young, and so if you're now an adult, it could be a really well entrenched part of your sense of self. But this is who I am. I'm a person who has a problem with food. I'm a person who's taken over by this part of me. I'm a person who has to be on a diet because I can't trust myself. We feel that's who we are, but it's not really who we are. It's just our ego or our conditioning that we've just come to believe is who we are. So to let go of that part of us can be scary because we don't know who we are without having a problem with food or having an issue with our weight or being on a diet, or we really don't know how to trust ourselves. That is really scary. To let go of the strict, disciplined adult and really trust our desire and our longings is terrifying because we feel then just that the child is going to take over and I'm never going to stop. But so kindness, curiosity is what I always say. Kindness and curiosity is the way out. It's the voice of the adult starts with just watching the child and watching the strict adult and seeing them, just noticing them, noticing how they don't want to be seen, noticing how much of a grip they have on you. So that's the place to start. And it is a kind of a grace that allows you to become aware of these voices, a grace that allows you to see, wow, look at me, look at how I'm eating, look, I just want it and can't stop myself. That's really interesting. It is a grace that allows you to become aware of these voices and watch them without becoming completely and utterly identified with them. And if grace allows you to become aware of these voices, practice and practice and practice is what will help you to overcome them. Practice watching, trying new ways, being kind. Practice not allowing yourself to become completely demoralized if you don't eat well, and go out and with kindness and curiosity going, okay, what was going on there? Can I learn to be with tiredness without eating? Can I sit down in the evening for 3 minutes and just be with tiredness rather than just automatically going to food? And then you practice that and you practice that, and eventually you find that you can do it a few times, and then you can do it a few more times, and then you realize, wow, I can do that more than I cannot do it. So that's the practice. So I hope that is helpful. It certainly was helpful to me to see that it wasn't me who was a failure with food, but just a part of me that I was taking over and demanding that I ate in certain ways. And it was also a relief to know that I didn't need to believe the voice of the strict adult too, and I could learn how to trust myself and eat all foods. So I'll leave it at that this week. I hope you found it helpful.